Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
All welcome to the last session of the batch. And today we're going to continue with a recap on what we were doing previously. And then we'll jump on to a few other things as I've already planned it and designed it here. Let's go with that. The other day or in the last session, we talked about reports. We talked about business processes. We talked about EMBs. We talked about security, compensation, and staffing models. A tip to everyone is, whenever you are ready or, let's say, you have an interview tomorrow, use this particular image as your reference guide, as a cheat sheet over your complete process. Like for example, if you have a doubt in security, just go through these points and make sure that you have everything that you need. And I'll share different if I'll be able to maximize this. But I have another visual already created for you guys, which is for the left over. We did core compensation, staff models and organization. I think this visual, they were not added correctly. I just created another one. Going over to this topic one more time is your core compensation. Is it better now? The core compensation. You already are familiar with the concepts here. Anytime anyone talks about these things, the first three things that come up to your mind is packages, rate and plans. And for any localization activity, you need your localization grid profile, topic and the deriving factor in your compensation eligibility rules. Second, just not getting the hang of these headphones as of now. These comp eligibility rules derive your compensation. Now, not only that, if I talk about job profiles, you can attach your compensation and the job profile as well directly. Having done that, when you use that particular job profile, you get to use that compensation elements and defaults when you are doing a hiring. We did an example for that as well when the compensation value did default. That was about core compensation. And then if you move on to the organization and staffing models which go hand in hand, your organization, which is the supervised organization, it is the foundation of your HCM. Without this, you cannot create position. Without position, you cannot hire workers. It allows to manage your resources in a management hierarchy. Now with this, if everyone, I think, had done this, you created locations, you created call centers, you created a company and many different supervised organizations. All these are different types of organizations and all these have a hierarchical structure, like sandbox. If I talk only about supervised organizations or a sandbox, you have your two peers and your subordinates. But remember, they all are of type supervisory. But if I talk about in reference to something, it might be a subordinate or superior point, but they all are type supervisory. That was about organization. And then you have the concept of role assignments. You can assign roles like an absence partner for a particular organization and the inheritance goes down. I was talking on the topic of organization and I was at the point of inheritance. That inheritance plays a big role in the concept of organization. Because every role assignment, every security group flows from your top to bottom. Anything assigned at the top flows to the bottom until and unless you assign it again. And if you recall, it comes with the topic of, you can see that if a value is assigned or inherited, you can look at the organization level. Let's say if I open up any organization, let's say this one. And if I go to the roles tab, this is what I was talking about, the role inheritance. Now most of it is empty. I think we should pick a better example. Let's pick up soul. We will have quite a few roles inherited from the top once this list is over. Guess if you see something here that role 11 is not assigned, it's inherited. That means that this role is somewhere assigned at a superior level, either at this or maybe one level up. Your role, inheritance, is very important to understand. Everything that you do at the top flows below. That was about organization. Now, understanding the organization also is clubbed together with understanding the concept of the staffing models. If your staffing model is position management, then you have more control on each position. Your hiring is constrained, or I'll say slow, because you are trying to hire for someone with a specific skill set versus in the job management. Your hiring restrictions are applied on a supervisory org level. All positions are same. You have more flexibility, which means that you can hire in bulk. You can hire them at speed because you're hiring for a generic requirement. The skill set, yes, it exists, but it's in general which most of you will have. Individual job requisition for each position. If I try to expand this, you will have individual job requisition for each of the positions. But in case of job management, you can just have one and you can keep it open. And as we all know, hiring restrictions are applied on each position. Now, if you're creating an organization again, if you're creating the top level organization, you mark it as position management. All the subordinates that you create will be of position management until and unless you change one of them to job management. And if you're doing that, you will have to do all these things, like you have to apply the hiring restrictions and then start the hiring. Again, to your concept based on the previous discussion, your job is the cover. Thumbs up. At this point, your job is the cover and your position is the chair. Always remember this concept and you'll be good to go. Any questions on any of these? Because all these topics we discussed completes our recap. And like I said, whenever you are ready for an interview, going for an interview, just look at these visuals. You can take a picture of these. You can take a screenshot of these. I'll leave that to you. And just remove all these from here and from here as well, just that it's all clean. You can take pictures if you want. Well, I guess there was more information in this. Yes. Thank you. Yep, you can take a picture of this now. I'll wait about 5 seconds for this. And then you can take one for this as well. Now the next point before I move on to the next topic. Any questions anyone has? You said the matrix organization. You would cover it later, but I don't remember you doing that, and maybe, if I'm wrong, also. Sure, absolutely. We can just quickly look into that. Matrix organization. The purpose of matrix organization is used to create when you have to pull people from different organizations and put them as one team to work on specific projects. The task that you use is called as create matrix organization. This is a task that you use. Since we have done everything, September 1st, we'll pick September 1st, we'll give it a name. Link matrix organization. We'll include the manager name. The type would be of matrix visible to everyone. We don't need any of these. Just click. Now this creates your organization link matrix. But this is just the organization. We have not assigned it anywhere. Now for that, we go to our reorganization. This is 1 second. There used to be an option that. No, there should be an option to assign it. And there was assign matrix member in the organization tab. Are we looking for that? Not exactly. Like assign superior. That's a task that I'm looking for. Let's assign a member first. Let's do that of effective November 1st. Let's say I want to assign Thor. I'll pick Thor. This is the position I submit. Now Thor is a member of this organization. Now if I navigate to Thor's profile, if I go into the team view, I think we need some other example. We'll pick Magic Tree instead. Keep this tab open. I'm hoping to get that view somehow. When you create a matrix organization, you get a dotted line view. That is what I'm trying to get to. Not sure if that is even enabled. I don't think it's enabled yet. I think I need to get back to you on this because I did that some time ago and it was working. But I think I'm missing something here. Some of the other steps which I'm not able to recall now because creating a matrix organization is easy. You just create the task. But assigning it to a hierarchy, that is where I think I'm missing a particular step. I think I'm missing a particular step because we used to like. There is a way to link your matrix organization into your existing hierarchy, which I'm not able to find now. But I'll definitely get back to you on this and keep looking out. I'll send a message to the support team and they'll reach out to you for this. Yes, where was I? On the whiteboard. Another thing that I need to discuss with you guys is the implementation cycle. How does that work in real world? And this is again on a high level. This will clear a lot of things on what you will do when you join an organization, depending on where the organization is. In this example, we have Stark Industries as one of the company. Let's say you work in Stark Industries. You are an employee of Stark Industries. You're hired as an HRIS analyst or a business analyst. Now, this particular visual is at the time your company has decided to move from a legacy system to a Workday system. Now your company is using some other system for all the other things. Like they're using maybe 5 different systems. Now you have decided to use Workday as your point of system, as your one source of truth. And as part of that, you hire some company as your implementation partner. In this case, we are picking up PUC as an example. It can be IBM, Accenture, Deloitte, KPMG Collaborative Solutions. There are many such companies like these. That is again your business sides based on the budget and what level of implementation they are looking for. Now what you will do, you are here. This is where you are. You are an analyst. What you do is you pick requirements from your company, from your business, from your stakeholders. You put them into a document in a template called as BRD Business Requirement Document. Every company has their own template. You can find that very easily. Now you convert the requirements that you received in a layman's term into the Workday language which the technical team at the implementation partner company understands. You are nothing but a liaison, a bridge between the technical team here and the business. Please make a note that this is at the time of implementation, when you're implementing Workday. You pick up the requirements. You get requirements from Stark Industries. You convert them into the language which Workday understands and basically in the Workday language. And you share those documents with this team. Now they do the implementation. They do the configuration and then they come back to you. And you are the first point of contact to test that. Once you test it, if you find any issues, you go back. They test it, they do it again. Then the cycle continues until everything is tested by you first. Once you give a go-ahead that this is all set, then the next phase of testing comes, which is your end-to-end testing or UAT, which is user acceptance testing. Both phases. You can use actual end users like someone from the business who will be doing that. Once they finish their testing, they'll give you a sign off that, yes, everything is working as expected, as we need. And then, with this particular arrow, you let them know that everything is working. Now please go ahead and do the configuration. Now the pre-pandemic era. Before the pandemic, all these implementation partners used to come to office, which is implemented by the bottom arrow. They used to come to your office and they used to give you a demo of the system. Now this is how system looks like. This is what the capability is. Based on your requirements, you can configure it this way, and at that time decisions were made. And at the same time, you will be making notes. You'll be working rigorously to understand those requirements because that is very important. And at the time, they give you the demo of the complete system. Whatever modules you need to understand, they'll give you the demo. They'll have different people coming in for different modules, or I'll say, for different functional areas. And you'll be sitting with them in meetings for long hours to understand what the system can do and the decisions that are made. All that happens at the time of implementation. Now, all that decisions are made. They move the changes into production. All the testing is done. All the system is live. That is when you come in. Now your company is a Workday company. If they for a day-to-day maintenance for any new configuration, you'll be responsible for doing that. But for example, now your company decides to move to or to add in Workday financials as well. If you have a Workday financial consultant in the team, then they can do the configuration. Else, you will go back to the implementation partner company and get Workday financials implemented. And then this particular cycle goes back and forth. A big point comes under this is your data. How is your data managed? Let's say previously, ADP and PeopleSoft were the system that your company was using. What you have to do is whoever the data expert in your organization is currently with the older system, they'll pull some reports. They'll pull a lot of reports from the system. And they will have to populate these Workday spreadsheets, which are provided by the implementation partner company. This is all worker information. Most of it is worker information. Now they have these sheets, and then there's always a data conversion expert in the implementation team who transforms and loads the data into your tenant. The first point, your data person pulls data from your legacy system into Workday sheets, which is provided to you by the implementation partner folks. Once you get that, you go to the data conversion expert, who is one of the members of the implementation team. They do the transformation and loading of the data, which then goes to your tenant. And the last step is validating that data, that whether all that transformation and loading did not mess up the data. You pull more reports from Workday now, and you match it with the reports that you pulled from ADP. Initially, the implementation team helps you pull that reports. They give you references. These are the reports you can use. And then you match it with the existing reports of ADP to make sure that the data is correct. Once all that is done, the cycle is repeated again for your production instance. And that is how your system goes live. Why I'm sharing this is because someone asked me in one of the batches that what would we do as a consultant. This is what you would do. At every stage, your responsibility is to understand the requirements. If you're talking about at the time of implementation, if the company has already implemented Workday, then you will be doing day-to-day maintenance and configuration yourself. I'll take a pause here. Any questions anyone has? You can take a picture of this as well for your reference. This is the maximums. You can do it with the screen. When you say we will do configuration as a consultant, what about the technical internal configurations? I mean the easier part, that how to configure a business process, all those things we understood. But what about? There are a few queries to be written. Or that will be taken care by the partner company in such cases. I didn't understand what type of queries you're talking about. Integration. The core integration part is what I'm trying to say. Initially, all that integration will be handled by the implementation partner company until your system is live with Workday. Once your system is live, all those integrations are in place. It's up to the business whether they hire a consultant who's an integration expert or they continue to take the support of implementation partner for that. It's up to the business. Again, coming to the same point, build versus buy. Do you want to hire a person who can build things for you, or you can already buy things if you have the money from implementation partner? Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.